Hey guys, welcome to Real Talk. We've got a great show for you today. Kira Hubbard with Magical Vacation Planners is here. Tim Nicholas, owner of A to Z Ranch in Smithville, Oklahoma. We're going to continue our conversation of what does it mean to have an entrepreneurial mindset. The difference begins with how you think. Real Talk starts now.
What is up, everybody? Nathan, great intro. Thank you for that. Appreciate seeing you again this month as we talk about mindset, entrepreneurial mindset. Entrepreneurial versus employee mindset is kind of the overarching topic of this month, and I'm excited to have the guests on our show today. We have kind of a vacation themed show for you today. So I'll be excited to hear from our guests here shortly. Real quick, guys, you're listening to Real Talk with Brian Poduska, where we basically have real talk with business owners locally here in the DFW area, and we actually have an Oklahoma participant today. So we're going a little bit beyond the DFW market today, but look forward to meeting everybody on the show today. Real quickly, my business, Real Property Management Focus, where we focus on your real estate investments. That's my company, real estate brokerage, full service, specializing in property management, working with small or large investors. Intentional real estate investors are our sweet spot clients. So if you have any curiosity in real estate investing or are seasoned in it and want to see some of the tools that we utilize to analyze properties, happy to have a conversation with you. Would love to meet you. So that's Real Property Management in a nutshell, where we focus on your real estate investments. But we are here to have a little bit of real talk. So let's bring in, Lyndon, if we could, our guest hosts today, Kerri and Nathan. What's up, guys?
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you guys today?
We're awesome. Well, I can't speak for Kerri. Kerri's less than excited, I think.
I'm dressed like this because I'm supposed to be where my guest is, staying the weekend up there, and we didn't quite get out on time.
Yeah, so Kerri, you're a little salty right now just because you're stuck in the DFW area. You're not in the nice wooded area of Oklahoma.
Exactly.
Maybe we need to switch our topic to how to overcome adversity.
That'd be a good one.
Or how to cope with disappointment.
Yeah, there you go.
Even the vacation space.
We'll try not to bash on Daniel too much because apparently it's his fault. So, I'll let you do that, Kerri.
Oh, I'm done. I've said all I'm going to say.
Well, it's good to see you guys again. Our topic of the month is mindset, entrepreneurial mindset. And I know we've kind of talked about that in the past, but with the focus of that being this month, I thought it was a good topic heading into the new year. And, as we set our goals and as business owners, entrepreneurs, really get to that, focus on that entrepreneurial mindset again. So, a lot of times in the past couple of weeks, we've talked about getting bogged down sometimes in your actual business. This is a good time of year to kind of take a step back and think about mindset and think about goal setting for next year. So why don't we do this if we can? Let's bring in your guys' guests. Let's let ladies go first. So Kerri, if you wouldn't mind introducing your guest, and then we can hear a little bit about her business and look forward to some travel opportunities.
Some good travel too. So my guest today is Tim McNicholas. He and his wife Christina own A to Z Guest Ranch up in Smithville, Oklahoma. They happen to be really good friends of ours, so I might be a smidge partial. But it's a really cool place. They've got several cabins you can rent that sleep all kinds of sizes. They've got RV spots. They have horse rides. They're one of 3 that have horse rides up there. But I'll let him tell you about that. Where is he? Oh, there he is. Y'all forgive him. He's up in the mountains, so it's a little slow and lagging. So sorry about that, guys.
Hey, Tim, hopefully you can hear us and the delay isn't too bad, but you're in the show. Welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about A to Z Ranch if you can.
Can you see me?
I can
Yep.
see you and I can now hear you.
Yeah, our reception is not good up here. We have satellite internet, and we got the best they offer. So I hate to see what the worst was, but
There he is.
Well, given the little bit of a lag here, we won't pepper you with a ton of questions, but why don't you tell us and tell the audience a little bit about
A to Z Guest Ranch. We're about 35 miles north of Broken Bow, the Hoach town, which is going to be Texas's Branson. If you know where Branson is in Missouri, it's upcoming in the land.
Love it.
Sounds like Tim may be frozen a little bit, but yeah. So
we have cabins. We have 4 cabins. We have an RV. We call it the Glamper. We have RV sites. Yeah, we have RV sites, and then we also our big business is the guided horseback riding. We have 16 horses.
That RV glamping thing, they got a new one.
I apologize, it's lagging pretty bad.
Well, if you can hear us, Tim, we got a little bit of.
We don't have big.
Yeah, we got some of the highlights here as far as 4 cabins. You've got RV spaces. You've got a glamper, which is great.
So let me tell you a little bit about the cabins. There's 2 couples cabins. All of them have hot tubs. There's a stone house that sleeps 6, and then there's a big house that sleeps about 18. And all of them have kitchens. They have plates and spoons and knives and everything you need to cook. You can they got grills up there. You can just take your food and go up there and be secluded for the entire weekend.
Awesome. That sounds great. And
or we can cook for you. We also.
Yep.
You can
Not bad.
cook for us. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Tim, if you don't mind,
we have a dining room.
If you can give us your story as how you came across starting this business, because this is intriguing, and we go up to as a family, we go up there every spring break. So I'm going to add this to our list of places to check out. But if you wouldn't mind, if you can hear and the lag isn't too bad, can you just tell us a history on how you came about starting this venture?
Well, me and my wife will be here 3 years in January. We actually bought it on kind of an accident, I call it. We used to go up to the Broken Bow area to a little vacation. Christina wanted to ride horses. She found this place. We came out here. Christina's kind of a tree hugger and loved it being out in the middle of nowhere. They said it was for sale and rolled up in a nutshell. 9 months later, we went under contract and bought it. I was a police officer for 15 years. Quit that job, and my wife was a mortgage banker that made all the money, and she quit her job. So we just went all in, rented our house out, and came out here.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. I love that story, and thank you for your service on the police force. Appreciate that.
But our big business is actually the guided. Thank you. Yeah, our big business is actually the guided horseback riding.
Okay.
And Kerri's favorite horse is Shorty, by the way. So
Shut up.
If you need to lose weight, but you still want to ride a horse, do y'all have horses that can accommodate? Nobody that I know in particular, just, in general.
There's a weight limit, Nathan.
Oh, crap.
we
Nathan's
do have a
asking
weight
for
limit
a
of
friend.
250, but I got 2 horses. Yep. I'll just. But we can take up to 280.
280.
I mean, Daniel rode.
I mean, the holidays are coming around, so just don't eat quite as heavy on Christmas.
You know that's just going to be false. Everybody's going to eat and gain weight. The January 1 thing.
Well, Tim, I love that story. I love how you and your wife just kind of pushed all in and literally rode up to the boonies and started something. I love it. That's awesome. That's a great story. So with the delay, let's go ahead, Tim.
The business was already kind of here. We just kind of just took it over. The previous owners have ran it for 15 years, so it was already here and had a name for itself.
Well, that's great because it's kind of turnkey at that point, and then you can put your own touches on it. So, but love that story. Let's pause, yeah. Nathan. What I'd like for you to do is if you could introduce your guest, and let's learn a little bit more about her.
Yeah, absolutely. So my guest is Kerri Kelso. She's with Magical Vacation Planners. We actually known each other for a long time. We both went in college together, but before that, she was actually my intern at church. She was an intern, and I was still in high school. So she's that's where we met a long time ago. Then we went to the same college. Didn't really know each other that much there, and then I found out that she had her own business and was into travel. But what I specifically love is that she specializes in Disney vacations, and like even though I'm not a child, I have this kind of magical obsession with Disney and Disney World as the most magical place on earth. My wife does not share this obsession, so I'm hoping that maybe we can get some sort of vacation plan through Kerri and maybe change her mind on that. I already got denied for the honeymoon there. We went to Costa Rica instead, but maybe for like the 5 or 10 year we can go to Disney World. I don't know.
You seriously wanted to go to Disney for your honeymoon?
Listen, I was it's awesome. I didn't say the magical kingdom. There's all kinds of beautiful stuff there.
Oh my!
Kerri,
I'm with your wife.
Don't start with me.
It's the happiest place in the world. I mean, come on.
Well, I mean, we went to Costa Rica. That was beautiful. I don't know if I was 100% serious, but I would have totally gone if she would have. But anyways, so I'll turn it over to Kerri, let her share about what she does, and super happy to have you on today.
Hey everybody, thanks for having me. And Nathan, you're right, we have known each other a long time, but I've gotten married. I'm married for about 18 years, and my last name did change, so it's now Mr. Hubbard.
Yeah, Hubbard.
I was thinking that.
I wrote that down, and I was like, I was going to say I knew you as Kerri Kelso.
That's right.
Talk about the name, the married.
That's
part.
right. Kerri Hubbard doesn't roll off the tongue quite as good as Kerri Kelso, but that's okay.
That is true.
Yes. And Kerri, to your point, there's actually a lot of people who love to go on their honeymoon to Disney.
Really?
Yes.
Yes. But both of them have to be participants, Nathan, not one.
Well, that's probably true.
I actually have some clients that leave tomorrow, and they're going to spend 10 nights at the Grand Floridian. Mm-hmm. It's their second marriage. They're in their 60s, and they cannot wait to go on a honeymoon to Disney World. Yeah.
I have one of my best friends and partner in business on some of my business she's got the Agents of Excellence, and she is a Disney nut. Like it's insane. So I get it because I see her.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. I mean, there are really people out there that that's all they want to do.
Right.
They don't care about anywhere else. They want to go to Disney every year, 3 or 4 times a year.
That's true. That's true. There are people that want to do that. So our agency started out primarily being only Disney for those Disney fanatics. And then we realized, you know what, there are some people out there who just want to go to Disney occasionally, not 3 times a year. And so we branched out. So we actually also do all-inclusive vacations, and cruises is our other branch of area.
Okay, good to know.
So we're experts in all of those places. But Disney is my favorite. It is so magical. It's the hardest to plan. It's the one that needs the most help for most people because it's just pretty overwhelming if you just go check it out yourself. So that's right.
Well, on that note, when people are going to go on these the parks and different things and the water parks, do you guys help with that as well? Because that is extremely overwhelming and extremely expensive if you don't know the en route to do it.
Absolutely. So my whole job is to help take all the stress away from my clients so they can have all of the fun. So I help them start from A to Z of their vacation, figuring out where they want to stay, how long they want to go for, when they want to go. I know all the details about when it's most crowded, when it's the most affordable time, when different festivals are happening at different parks. So anything that they tell me that they're interested in, then I help tailor that package and that vacation to be perfect for them so that they'll get the most value out of their time, have the most fun together, and avoid the pitfalls that most people fall into. I use algorithms that help them figure out which park is going to be more crowded on any given day so that they can avoid all of that. And then I give them hand typed notes that's customizable and perfect for their family. So if they have family with toddlers, then I tell them, here's how you need to go about your day. Here's how you use all the latest features that Disney just came out with, like the Genie Plus, to be able to skip the lines and have minimal wait time. Here's how you're going to use the transportation system to get from one spot to the other, all of that kind of stuff. Those are things that you would spend hours upon hours researching on your own, and people don't have time for that. And they don't even know if they're getting the best deal or not, because they're just kind of shooting out there. So that's the other thing that's really great about our agency. If a price becomes lower, then we automatically rebook the package for their guests and send them a message that says, hey, we just saved you $100, or we saved you $1,000, or whatever it is.
Wow.
Love that. Yeah.
That is awesome. Yep. So do you also do airfare and car, or do you just do the resort?
So that's a great question. When it depends on which area of vacation they're wanting to take. Disney, after the COVID shutdown, no longer allows agencies to book as a package the airfare included. They just dropped that completely. And so, but I still can do a car, but I don't recommend having a car on Walt Disney World property, because you're just paying for it to park in the parking lot. And there's ways you could spend that money at really cool restaurants or other fun things to do instead. But I can, if people want to go to the beach, or they want to go to Universal Studios, or they want to do something else in the Orlando area, or in Anaheim, if they want to go to Disneyland, we can definitely add on a car to that package. If they're wanting to do an all-inclusive vacation, like let's say they want to go to the beach in Mexico or Dominican Republic or someplace like that, yes, flights are usually always included. They don't have to be. Like if someone has their own air miles, or a flight voucher from a canceled flight from 2020 or something like that, then we can absolutely let them handle that part on their own, and then handle just the resort accommodations instead. And then cruising, it kind of depends. A lot of people in the DFW area like to cruise out of Galveston, so they just drive and they don't really want flights. But if they want it added on, we can absolutely add it on.
Okay, good to know. That's
awesome. Tell me how. I know that obviously you were in youth ministry. You and your husband have been in ministry for a while, and he still is a full-time minister at your church. Right. Tell me how you transitioned from being in ministry, you personally, to now. I don't remember if you were telling me if you had any type of corporate job at any point or not, but how you got into what you're doing now.
Right. Yeah. It's a really interesting story. So Nathan's right. My husband and I were co-youth ministers together at two different churches for 12 years. And so we loved hanging out with students. And during that time, I ended up learning a lot about group travel and lots of different ways to transport and get a bunch of students several times a year, be it mission trips or camps or retreats and things like that. So I always had a love for travel, but it was really just a hobby, and it was just a portion of my job in ministry. When we moved to Arlington and my husband became the lead minister at our church and the pulpit preacher, I decided to stay home with our girls, and that's not really what I felt like I was built for. I love being home with them, but I also wanted something else to do that was just mine. And so I started planning fake Disney trips when I was sad and depressed. So I had 10 years worth of fake trips planned, and my husband would come home and I'd be like, guess what? In 2025, we're going to stay here. And he was like, what is your problem? Something is seriously wrong with you. But I was really depressed. I had kind of lost myself, and my job and my identity was completely wrapped up in being a minister, and I didn't know what to do. And so I just started planning fake trips, and my friends were constantly telling me, you should do this professionally, and I didn't know how to do that. And so after a lot of prayer and a lot of guidance from friends and a lot of Google searches, I came across the agency that I'm a part of now, Magical Vacation Planner, started my own franchise with them, and that was in 2017, and here I am 4 years later, rocking and rolling and loving planning vacations for people.
That's fantastic. So I love the fact that you were using it almost as an outlet when you were going through some rough times, and now it's something that you took a passion and you made it into a career. So that's fantastic. I have to ask, how did COVID? Obviously you made it through, but your business was one of the hardest hit, I have to imagine. So
yes,
how did you guys maneuver through that?
Yeah, that's the question of the year, Brian. Everybody wants to know. So I actually was sitting in Walt Disney World in mid-March when the announcement came that they were going to be shutting down 2 days later. We were all shocked. I was at this huge conference and we were like, we never thought this was going to happen. And so my job quickly went from taking the stress out of the vacation planning to helping people disassemble their precious trips that they had been planning and saving and dreaming about. And it was really depressing. But I grew so much during that time because I learned that being a good human being and just helping love on people and walk them through all of the steps, all of the changes, all of the complicated details, helping them track down their money, being their advocate with those different vendors that weren't necessarily ready to handle all of the craziness. And so what it did is it gave me clients for life, and they became what we call advocates who just go out there and tell everybody about us. And so many different travel organizations have said that 2021 is the year of the travel advisor, because what we found is that before COVID, a lot of people would say, why do I need to use a travel advisor? I can do that all on my own. I'm just going to go online and find something that I want to do. And I'm going to trust what my friends tell me about where I should go. A trusted friend or family member was the authority when it came to where you chose to go on vacation. But after COVID and everything falling apart and us just grinning and bearing it and writing lots of handwritten notes and calling people and checking in on them and seeing how they were doing, people decided, you know what, there's so many changes. There's so many policies. There's so many requirements that weren't there before. I don't know how to keep up with all of this. And so that's my job, is I keep up with all of that. So now the people say, I trust my friend and family member to tell me what travel advisor to use. And then they're going to tell me where to go and stay. So my business has almost increased by 150% from what I was doing in 2019. So July of 2020 was pretty rough, y'all. I made $17 that entire month. Like, that was awful. That was rock bottom. But after that, it started to increase. People got excited about travel again. And here I am 150% better. So it was great. I wouldn't be who I am without COVID.
That's great to hear. Yeah. That kind of sounds like the real estate industry,
yes,
right, Kerri? I mean, it shut down for a good 3 months or so, and then it came back really strong. So that's good to hear, especially on the travel side. I'd imagine, Tim. Ironically, and Tim, you're on a delay, I know. So, but Kira, you mentioned that. You were you said Orlando when the announcement came down.
Yes.
I was ironically up in Broken Bow. We were up there for spring break. So yeah, one of those moments of where were you when, right? I was in Broken Bow, so I didn't really want to come back. It would have been nice to stay up there.
I won't lie. When COVID hit, and it hit them much later than it did us, where they're at in Smithville being a problem of like, oh, there's a problem. We went up there quite a bit, and I was not sad about that at all. Like every other weekend, all right, let's go back up there. We can't do anything here.
Yeah, that's right. You might as well get out and go somewhere where there's not many people.
Now, if y'all could figure out the internet situation up there, you could do your virtual showings from up there at the ranch. That would have been awesome.
So, Kerri, I hear you saying your satellite office was in Broken Bow at the A to Z Ranch.
Yeah, that's
there you go.
Right? And let me tell you something. Life of a realtor, if you go out of town, that's when it blows up.
That is true.
And you'll be up there, and you got to stand in a certain spot to get reception, and you're like, and I'm like, no, now you can call from. I didn't care. I couldn't go anywhere. We couldn't do much down here, and that we were up there when they got the first case up there. And the mayor's like, oh, we got to shut down. They didn't. But it was very bizarre as we continued to travel up there throughout that process, how everything was shut down in Broken Bow. Everything. It was interesting. But I'm not sad about it. I traveled.
Yeah, that is interesting, because when I remember the drive back to DFW after that week that we spent up there, it was, everybody down here was wearing a mask, but it seemed like everybody in Oklahoma was not. And
Yep.
there was zero concern that, there was no rush on stores. Like, shelves were still stocked. But once you got to the DFW area, there were, every Target and every Walmart was, bare shelved because everybody made a run on the products.
That is true, because we left. We'd already planned to go up there because I'll go in the wintertime. I won't go to summer because there's bugs up there I don't like. And I went to the grocery store and I was like, oh, this is not good. And so I told Daniel, I was like, we have to stop in Ida, and it's a 2.5 hour drive home. We got to stop in Ida for groceries, and I'm glad we did, because we might have been hurting just a smidge had we not stopped and got a few things, meat and stuff on the way back. It was nuts.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, I want to take a break right now. And what we'll do, we've got a new partnership that I want to bring awareness to. Lyndon, could you just give us a quick voiceover of what this opportunity is and who the group that we've partnered with is? If you're,
Hey, I'm having a little bit of delay here. Yeah, I'm having a little bit of delay here, Brian. Give me just a few seconds and go ahead.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, we'll play the music in the background.
Okay, I have a question since you're waiting for him. Nathan, what happened with Jesse?
I messaged him. I haven't heard back from him yet, but I'm going to keep following up with him.
Aye.
That happens, whatever.
We might have happened to go to lunch one day, and he is the king, and he's got it down pat. He's trying to grow his team, and it was amazing. This waiter that we had, who was a sweet little guy. They moved here from what, Arizona or New Mexico?
New Mexico, I think. Yeah.
He and his cousin or something, they dropped out of school, moved a moving company here. So he's kind of already got that entrepreneurial attitude. Nathan's like, hey, I'm like, here we go.
Working. Gotta always have to find a reason to talk to somebody. Because if you just talk to somebody out of nowhere, it's weird. But if you compliment them or ask a question or have something in common with it, it's easy to talk to anybody.
That's true.
So,
you did very well. I told you that. I was impressed.
We got a guy in our office that could talk to a wall.
Oh boy.
He's more relational than me. And I'm like, we watched him make friends with this Harley guy this guy was in the office the other day, just had a Harley helmet. Next thing you know, they're talking for 30 minutes. I'm like, oh my gosh, did you do that? But yeah, it's important. You just got to, you talk about, we're going to get into mindset in a minute, but if you're in a business where you're looking for clients or you're looking for, people to work with you, partners, team, whatever, it's almost, you have to be on all the time. You're always looking for, not anybody, but the right person. And so, kind of work it into your conversations. How are we doing, Lyndon?
Yeah, sounds like Lennon's inherited Tim's
internet connection.
For the first time,
he just texted me.
For the first time in history, we dropped internet connection, and I had to go to a backup. But we're good to go now.
Okay, good.
Tim just texted that he lost internet connection too. He's trying to work on it. So I apologize. Right. That's one thing I worried about having him on as a guest, but their place is so freaking awesome. I couldn't at least try to give him a shot at it.
I saw the website. I'm definitely booking a weekend there with my wife.
Well, I'm telling you, you need to come up New Year's Eve when we're up there. So
we'll come. That shouldn't be a problem. That'll be fun.
It'll be dangerous, but it'll be fun. For sure fun.
Lennon,
we want to talk about the Copeland thing real quick.
Yes.
Yeah, if you've got it, let's do it.
All right, I got that one.
Kerri, why don't you take this one away?
Well, what happened?
I'm not sure. Everything that went wrong yesterday. I'm not sure what that was.
Delayed.
Go ahead, Kerri.
So we've got a person that we work with who is Michael Copeland, who is a farmer's agent. And he, for about 3 or 4 years now, has done Michael's Meals, where he basically just gets donations and he goes and buys a family of 4 a Christmas meal. So he never starts until after Thanksgiving on the collecting of the money. So if people know it goes to Christmas meals, it includes a turkey, all the sides, dessert, like everything, even drinks sometimes. I think last year we did like little Kool-Aid drinks or something for the kids. So we're taking donations right now. Shopping starts Saturday morning. If you guys want to donate, you can go to the Venmo little thingy and donate there. Last year we did 58. This year his goal was to do 100, I think.
Correct.
Cook DFW Roofing and Restorations, my husband and I's company, are matching up to $2,500, and we're writing a $2,500 check. So we're going to do maybe 150.
Well, I think last year he doubled his goal. I think his goal was like 20 or 25, and he put out more than 50 baskets. So if his goal was 100 this year, and with all your guys' help, I mean, that huge kudos to you guys for doing that. As far as the matching gifts of 2,500, that's awesome. And this whole effort from Mr. Copeland has been fantastic. I think we met him roughly about 3 years ago, Kerri, and it's been exciting to watch this grow.
Yeah, he did 13 that first time. Then last year, I think you're right, 28, and we did 58.
Yep. So it's been exciting to see this grow. And if you're out there listening, there is that Venmo that you can connect to. Reach out to Michael on his Facebook page. He's got information there if you don't do Venmo, but certainly is a great cause. So if you can find it in your heart and in your pocketbook to donate to Michael's meals, that would be fantastic.
And we'll pop that back up again before the show's over, so people can get that little QR code.
I appreciate that.
All right, want to do the Patriot-owned business now?
Yeah, let's do it.
We're run this really quick.
Coming in 2022, the Patriot-owned businesses live stream and podcast show, powered by The Difference Radio, live stream, and podcast. The voice of small business and the communities they serve. The Patriot-owned businesses live stream and podcast show will spotlight Patriot-owned businesses that are making the difference in the communities they love and serve. So if you are a Patriot-owned business or you love supporting Patriot-owned businesses, stay tuned for more details coming soon.
That was awesome.
That was pretty cool, man.
Love it.
Yeah, so we're really excited. We're excited about that partnership because obviously The Difference is all about small businesses and the small communities, but also the Patriot-owned businesses. You know, we're all kind of up against the 8 ball sometimes when it comes to our government subsidizing these large corporations. You know, when times get tough, just like we talk about Kira, you know, she went through COVID. She didn't get a bailout. She didn't get any help from anybody. The big corporations do, and the small businesses don't. And so we wanted to partner with Patriot-owned business to help promote the people that really love our country and then serve those communities every day, no matter if it's in good times or bad times.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's going to be great. I look forward to that. You know, as we talk about mindset and getting into 2022, that's going to be a great partnership. So look forward to that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, hey guys, why don't we dive into the topic of mindset? That is our topic of the month. And really, as we've kind of queued it up, we've been kind of diving into the entrepreneurial versus the employee mindset, and this kind of goes back to the Patriot-owned businesses, right? We are entrepreneurs, each one of us, and no, we didn't get huge government bailouts over the last year and a half. So, what does it mean to you, Kira, from your standpoint, especially going through what you went through in the travel industry last year? What is that difference between entrepreneurial and employee mindset to you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that an employee mindset would be you just do what you're told and you don't really know what to do when things are falling apart. Where for me, it was, well, I've got to get myself up and I've got to figure out how to make this work. And so I just started calling my clients, hey, how you doing? What's going on? How can I help? What can I be? How can I keep you in mind? How's your family? Is everybody healthy? You know, just simple questions, asking them how they were doing, which then led into thinking, well, what would I want somebody to do for me in a moment of crisis? Well, I just want them to be there for me. I'd want them to know that I authentically was being cared for by that person, and that I authentically was caring for them back. And so that was just what I did on March the 16th, 2020, when it was like, okay, this is day one. And then as the shutdown came through, and so when I didn't know what else to do, I would just write a handwritten note to somebody. I made a commitment that the people who weren't able to take their vacations, I would write them a note and just say, hey, I know you're really sad this week because you were supposed to be wherever. Just wanted you to know I'm here for you. I understand how sad you are. And when you're ready to rebook, I'm going to help you every step of the way. And that was huge for people. And it really was nothing for me, but maybe a sore hand, you know, and some stamps kind of situation. So started doing that. And then we got real creative. We had to figure out, okay, so if these people were supposed to go to Disney World and they don't feel comfortable going to Disney World, but they just need to get the heck out of Dodge, where can we help them find a place to go? So we started looking at Airbnbs. We started looking at cabins. We started looking at national parks. I learned more about national parks than I ever thought, because that's where everybody wanted to be, outside, where they didn't have to wear a mask and they could go and explore. And so my family, we scrapped our vacation and said, what can we do? And so we went to Utah and went to national parks. We went hiking. We took pictures. We had fun. And we just showed people, hey, you can still have an amazing vacation on a dime during this time, because you may not have as much money, you know. And we just started to get creative and figure out alternatives to what they could do. And then I never tried to put pressure on anyone, but just to authentically say, I'm here when you're ready, and here's what I'm doing. I did go to Disney several times in 2020. I went about 5 different times. So I had to spend a lot of the money that I didn't have to post on social media to promote it. Disney did give us, all of the agents at MVP, some different opportunities that we wouldn't have had otherwise. So when I was given an opportunity by a vendor, I took it, and I spent more money than I made in 2020. But now I'm looking at it, it's paying myself back, as my sales are up 150%. So sometimes you have to spend money to make money. And it's really scary to do that when you're making $17 a month, you know. That's terrifying, but that's what being an entrepreneur, you've got to take risks and you've got to weigh the consequences. The latest thing that I'm doing that my family is not happy about, I have 3 girls, 14, 11, and 8, and they are Disney fanatics. And I've been given an opportunity to take a few of my team members on a Disney cruise out of Galveston in January. I was only able to get 1 room at the really amazing discounted rate, and so only 3 people would come, and my children are furious that they are not those 3 people. But I had to say, you know what, from a business perspective, this is better long-term for my business to take people on my team who are also selling than it is for me to take my children. That helps my sales, but if I take my agents on my team, that helps everybody's sales. And so they are learning a little bit about business 101 through this painstaking missing out on a cruise opportunity. So they're like, but you always get to go. Last week I got to go to Disneyland and check it out. They didn't get to go, so they're kind of bitter, a little salty. But that's what being an entrepreneur is. I have to pick and choose my battles. And so I'm absolutely going to take my family on vacation. I'm absolutely going to take them to Disney, but I'm not going to take them with me 5 times in 1 year. You know, we've got to pick and choose when they get to go and when they have to stay home.
Yeah, but I think you're also teaching them about being an entrepreneur and what you have to give up. Yeah, you may have to suffer because you don't get to go 5 times like I do, but you go once a year. And let me tell you something else. There's other people that don't ever go.
Right. Exactly.
So you're really teaching them a lot about that mindset by just doing what you're doing.
Thank you. Can you say that again real loud so they hear you in the other room?
Hey, kids.
A little tough love is A-okay. I mean, that goes a long way.
Absolutely.
That's right. And I'm all about hard work, you know, so I want to teach them the value of working hard, and that if you work hard, then, you know, you get to experience some cool things. You can't just expect it to be handed to you. So.
Amen.
Absolutely.
You don't get a trophy because you showed up.
Right.
Yeah. And I think, you know, just owning a business, you know, I know I do. And I know most business owners put in just a ton of hours. And especially on the front end of that, as you're starting up your business, you may not be as available as you'd want to be for your family. But I've had the conversation with my kids is that, you know, yeah, dad's working late tonight and has been all week. And, the whole reason we're doing this is so down the road, we'll have more time. So it's absolutely a lesson that you can teach and instill in your kids.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right.
Hey, Nathan, I know you had mentioned in our chat over here, you've got a good resource or a good book that you wanted to mention on the topic of entrepreneurial mindset. You want to
It's so at our my agency and some of our agents and all of us that own agencies here that we office with, we're going through a book called Success is Not an Accident, and it's by a guy named Tommy Newberry. And there's an infinite resources out there for entrepreneurs, but I like this, and I'm going through it for the first time because look at that. Good job.
Lyndon's got his internet back, and now he's cooking with gas.
Yeah, I feel like I'm playing with new toys right now.
Right. Yeah,
it's
not a book that you just read through. It's literally helping you with your mission statement, your goals, what it means to be successful, what success looks like for you, and then practical measures of how to get there, right? And so much of I thought about that book because and I'm not through it all the way. We're actually training over it on Tuesday nights in our team trainings, but so much to being an entrepreneur that differs, and it's not that people that are employees don't. I mean, this book is plenty sufficient for someone that works in corporate America or has works at McDonald's as a fry cook. I mean, whatever you could have this, and it would be very important to your life for your physical goals, marriage goals, spiritual goals, business goals, whatever. But in order, what I've learned over the last year, couple of years that I've been in this business and just starting to realize the difference in, like Kira talked about earlier, just being told what to do. Here's the expectations. You do these things when we give you some money in exchange for your time. The difference in that and being successful in the business world as an owner is huge. And it does start with your mind, but it's not just in your mind. It's how you order things, right? How you order your day. Do I show up at the office with what I'm going to accomplish that day? And for a long time, it's one of my struggles is just kind of being all over the place, right? And I have had enough talent, and not to toot my horn, I've been good at enough things where I can put it together and kind of make it look okay. But at the end of the day, I know that I'm not going to get where I want to go unless I am more structured in those certain ways. So this book is awesome because it allows you to plan, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, and strangely a 9-year goal, right? Which is he talks about why 9 years, but I'm literally working through this right now. And so I think it's a great place to start so far. Maybe I can update you. My goal is to have it finished and kind of have some things in order by the end of the year. Maybe I can share that in our January podcast. But, phenomenal resource. If you're listening, you're not a business owner, it's still highly, highly recommended really, if you don't have goals, I don't care if you're a CEO of a major corporation or if you work at a t-shirt shop on Main Street. If you want to get anywhere in life, you've got to have a pathway. You've got to know where you're going. You've got to have a pathway to get there, and you've got to have a plan in place to make sure that you're following that path. I don't care what you're doing. And so I think that's why so many people, struggle today, because they're just floating around in life. So they don't even think about becoming an entrepreneur because they're barely hanging on in the real world because they're just kind of taking things as they come, and everything feels overwhelming. And at the end of the day, you just kind of give up, and that's very depressing. And I think, that's what makes us able. It's one of the things that we're able to make a difference in. It's just, not only helping small businesses thrive, but showing people starting or owning or creating or purchasing a small business is another avenue to success and fulfillment that a lot of people may have not thought of. And so that's just what really that fires me up.
So didn't you say you could kind of apply that to marriage or to even just your job at work? Like, because your job at work, you want to have goals, right? Well, hopefully you have goals.
Well, yeah,
you're an employee, right? So that can kind of apply across the board to everybody.
Yeah, they try to make you have goals at your corporate job. some of them aren't very exciting. It's usually their goals for you, which is a
Right.
little bit different. But yes, if you want to get out of your job, you might want to set some goals on how to do that as well.
And this book is also helpful in that aspect.
This book, anybody, anywhere in life, if you're not where you want to be, which doesn't mean there's a guy that's a mentor of ours in our business, reads this book. He's read it 20 times and he updates his goals every time he reads it because we change. It's not like in 9 years, hopefully I've reached my 9-year goal if I'm following my plan. But then what about the next 9 years? Well, I need to be continuing because I always want to get better, whether it's my marriage, kids, life, my spiritual development, my development in business. Where do I want my business to be? Right. And so everyone has 3 of those goals just by being a human being. And you may not be married, you may not have kids, but you're living. And if you want to be better in any area in life, then yeah, this book is absolutely, I would say, quintessential to get there. But no matter, another book that I'm reading is called The Power of Consistency. I just totally went blank. But everything goes back to what happens here. What you put in, it sounds cliche, but what you put in is what comes out. And, you used to teach us that at church. And it was more about don't fill your mind with crap so you won't be a sinner, which is not untrue. But neutral things can be detrimental. Like, for instance, Netflix. Nothing overtly wrong with watching and enjoying TV shows. But if it consumes your life, then it sucks. It literally keeps you from becoming who you were created to be. And so that's where, even seemingly good things can keep you from moving forward in life, wherever it is that you're wanting to go. I really went off on a tangent there. Sorry, but.
Well, I do like the fact that one of the nuggets you said in there, Nathan, reading the book multiple times, you've got somebody in your office who's read it 15, 20 times. Well, with a mindset, mindset shifting that occurs. And if you're going to grow and you're going to evolve, your mindset does have to shift to some degree, right? Now, you can have your nine-year goal, but to get there, your mindset may have to shift a couple times throughout those 9 years, right? So that's interesting. So it's called Success is Not an Accident.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy Newberry. Okay.
Yeah, you'll love it.
So on that aspect, yeah, your mindset does shift and everything changes, right? Like if you're just married and you're focused on your marriage and you're an entrepreneurial, I can't say that word. I'm out on it. You're focusing on that.
That word, so don't feel bad. It's like
so
our guest last week she's from Russia, so she has an accent. She tapped out too. She said, "I'm not saying that word anymore."
But she did good. But yeah, you're right. But as you change, as you get older, your everything changes. Your mindset, what your goals are. So that 9-year goal, I kind of don't get because that's a little bit far off. But in real estate, we do 1, 3, 5s, and it's the 1 year, 3 year, 5 year. And then we have done in this last year twice the 12-week year.
I've heard of that. Yes.
Oh, it is amazing. And it really makes you focus on weekly, like what are my goals, which is a 411 in Keller Williams, your weekly goals. But I like the 12-week year better. So it's a really good one too. But Ryan and Nathan, to your point, the mindset, rereading these books because you're in a different place every time you read them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad thing if something really helped you the first time to go back when you're in a different stage in your life and read it again and apply.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So my dad and mom both were small business owners at different times in my life, but my dad primarily, that's what he did. And he would tell me as soon as I started MVP, he said, every 3 to 5 years, you're going to have to reevaluate your business. You're going to have to reevaluate what are negotiables and non-negotiables in your daily time, how you're spending what your goals are, what your long-term effects are going to be. And so this book totally falls right in line with that thought of, hey, every 3 to 5 years, I probably need to read it again, if not sooner, just to say, wait a second, what are my goals? And am I doing, do I still like this part of my job, or should I tweak it or change it or do it differently so that way I can be more productive or spend more time with my family, like you were talking about, Brian, or whatever your goal may be.
Yeah. And what's interesting that I think a lot of people, like I'll have agents that come and work part-time which is, there's a lot of part-time real estate. Kerri, you're familiar with that, of course. And a lot of our trainings, I'm in personal finance, so we do, insurance, investments, all kinds of different stuff. And, I'm passionate about that. I'm really good at what I do. But when we're training agents, sometimes they want to be like, oh, what am I need to learn about product. I need to learn more about this and that. And I'm like, you're gonna get that as we meet with people and you see this stuff happen and you put it in place yourself. We spend most of the time on our Tuesday night trainings, and even when I meet with my own agent, on the myths, not the fundamentals. Do you have to be good at the fundamentals? Yes. Do you have to know
to John
inside and out of Walt Disney World to be good at your job here? Of course. But it's the little things. It's the how do you handle adversity when and you're a travel agent, and what do you do when say no and they're about to close on a home and they back out, or with me, people, you're getting ready to help a client, or you bring on a new agent and they quit, or whatever that looks like in your business, right? You have an investor, big investor, Brian, and all of a sudden they pull out for whatever reason. I don't know. But we spend a lot of time on the mentals. And I got a buddy that I work with also. He did a presentation. He was talking about how, if you read like Nick Saban and then Michael Jordan, Lance Armstrong, their biographies or their memoirs, whatever they write, they don't do a lot of time talking about how to shoot a good shot or what their training regimen is for how to win the Tour de France 7 times. Maybe the mentals behind that, but Nick Saban's not necessarily talking about which offense to run or which defense to run. It's all about the mindset. What does it look like to be successful in these arenas? And man, if you don't understand the value of what goes in here, it's a constant evolution, right? You don't ever sit back. It's kind of like your spiritual relationship. You don't ever get there, but you want to keep moving forward. And so in business, people that I see are I feel like they're wildly more successful than I am at this point. It's where I want to get to when I know that they're still setting goals and they're still challenging themselves. They're still reading everything they can get their hands on. They're reading books over and over again. Like, well, gosh, I've got to do the same thing. So there's got to be something to this mental thing. And it really is the key, because you will face adversity in business. You don't really face like detrimental adversity when you're an employee. I'm not saying nothing is relative. I'm not, saying nothing goes bad. Obviously, if you got fired or something, that would be detrimental. But what happens in your life, it's like the things that occur in your life also affect your business, right? You can't separate those things. So you've got to know what to do, pivot, how to make things, how to overcome adversity, when you can't get to your vacation place on time. Just kidding, Kerri.
Touche to Kerri.
Because it's the foundation, and it never changes. You don't ever.
I got a question for y'all real quick. I don't want to interrupt you, Nathan, but you said something about what Saban and Michael, and I really like that, because it is true. They don't talk about where your foot placement should be. I mean, that's in practice, right? They don't talk about your foot placement on a free throw or the rotation of the ball. They talk about the mindset. And one of the things I know Saban talks about all the time is being able to measure and evaluate your success. What are y'all's thoughts? Can you effectively measure and evaluate productivity and success if you don't have the right mindset and a consistent mindset?
I have something to say. So before, I've been in real estate 6 years. I've been active full-time 3, 4. Anyway, I was an employee before that for years. And your mindset there is I go in and do my job. Now because I have the E word that I'm not saying, mindset, I'm already going above and beyond. Like Kira said earlier, as an employee, you just do what you don't know how to handle things. But I knew how to put out fires because I have that mindset, right? So that's what sets you apart from the traditional or normal employee. I go above and beyond and I figure it out and I fix it. I did not realize until I got in sales 100% of my life, which is 24/7, how much your mindset really absolutely affects your life. Your marriage, that's in your friendships, that's in your work, that's in every aspect of your life. If you tell, Nathan, you mentioned it earlier as a church aspect, it's very true. If you tell yourself negative things, that's what happens. That's all you see because that's all you do. So it's being in the E word, I'm not saying mindset is absolutely, you always, it's a better lifestyle, honestly, because you always stay positive because you have to tell yourself to stay positive so you keep moving forward. And Linda, to answer the question, yes, I do, because for me, it's easy. I can say, hey, I sold this month last year, or this many last year, and this month money. And, oh, by the way, I capped 5 months earlier than I did the year before. So I absolutely track that stuff because I think it helps us keep motivated and it shows us that we're doing what we need to do and we've got our goals set and we're following those goals.
I agree. Let me ask you this, Kerri, because you made a good point. When you're focusing on the positive, when you've got the right mindset and you do focus on the positive, it doesn't necessarily, would you agree with this? It doesn't necessarily mean you've got less challenges every day, less problems every day. It's just that you're able to handle them better because your mindset is in a place that gives you strength.
1000% agree.
I think that's a misconception so many people have. I think that's a misconception so many people have, that if I try to have a positive mindset, nothing bad's going to happen to me. And that's not the case. It still happens. You just handle it differently than the people that crawl up in a ball when they have a negative mindset and that's kind of like, I bet Kira did the same thing when COVID happened. There were people in COVID that looked at that as an opportunity to grow. Mm-hmm. Yes. And you figure out how the word pivot was used probably more in 2020 than any time in the history of the word. Amen. We all had to pivot, but there was people that just crawled up in a ball and felt sorry for their circumstances, and it hurt them. It hurt them bad.
Yeah, one of the things that was really, really hard for my job specifically is people were so upset and they needed somebody to vent to. They needed somebody to just kind of throw all of their frustration at. And I ended up being that person a lot for my clients. They were so disappointed that their vacation wasn't happening, or they were frustrated that they had these new, COVID protocols. People are still mad. They're like, I want to go on a cruise, but I don't want to wear a mask inside the ship, or I don't want to have to get vaccinated if that's what's required. And so who's the person that catches all of the brunt of that? Well, that's the travel advisor, because I'm the only person they can talk to when things aren't going right. And what I found that helped me and all of the agents on my team and my other agent friends is we started just like a gratitude journal of, okay, in that moment when I am ready to pull my hair out and scream horrible things at you because I really could care less about your first world problem of your vacation not working out exactly how you want. Like when I'm at rock bottom, that's kind of how cynical I feel about it. But I had to find ways to say, no, okay, hold on. Let me put myself in their shoes. And what am I thankful for? Hey, I'm thankful that they trust me, that they're willing to talk to me about this. Because if I wasn't that same person, I might not get this opportunity. I'm thankful that somebody else is wanting to plan a vacation. I'm thankful I'm still getting a paycheck this month. I'm thankful that I get to work from home. Like I just had to come up with reasons to say what I'm thankful for. And that helped change my mindset incredibly. So now I can be the best version of myself to help be a calming presence for them, to help calm them down, to help creatively think outside of my flight or fight kind of moment that we get into in our brains, and then we can't help anybody at all, and then nobody wants to work with us. So that gratitude was huge for me because it helped pivot, shift my mindset to go, oh yeah, I have a job here. It may not be what I thought. I may not be getting any commission at all at this moment, but I'm going to get it later. So I'm working for my future.
Absolutely. To answer your question, Lyndon, I think you were saying how do you define success? Are you able to measure success? Is that right? Is that what you asked a minute ago?
Well, I was asking if you could fully understand how to evaluate success and productivity and how to measure it if your mindset is not right. Because if you don't have a proper mindset and there's not some consistency in there, productivity is going to be inconsistent. Mm-hmm. Success is going to be inconsistent. Mm-hmm. And so are you really being fair with yourself and how you're evaluating yourself if you didn't give yourself a fair chance to win?
And I thought the reason I wanted to respond to that is because I think it works on both ends. It's one, can you be successful without having the right mindset? but first you've got to establish what your definition of success is. And that's one of the first things in this book that you do, and even in chapter 1 is you finish the sentence, I experienced success in my life when you have that definition. Well, now, and it'll change. It'll change, maybe every couple of years. I don't know. But now you have a measuring stick, and now you know where you want to go. Now you make the goals, the strategies, the plans, down to a granular level, how you're going to get there.
Hey, we need to put up Copeland. That's really good, Nathan. I agree with that. But we need to run Michael's deal real quick for Kerri.
Well, yeah, let's do that, and then we've got some sponsorship reads to do as well. Go ahead, Kerri. And Daniel, good to see you, buddy.
Michael's Meals.
Wait a minute. He's not in the doghouse?
Well,
he's actually in the real house?
They might know we didn't leave on time because you weren't home.
It's all your fault, dude.
Hey, I tried to make sure she was going to be here because I knew the reception was bad up in the mountains.
Oh, whatever. That's his excuse now.
He's a team player.
Michael's Meals. We are collecting money until Saturday to donate to families in need. And not only do we need the money to donate, but we also need people. If you know people that are in need, if you have a church connection or you have a school connection, you have something like that we can reach out to make sure we have a home for all these schools, have a home for all of these meals. It's a full meal. It's a gift card for turkey, ham, whatever they want. It's a full entire meal, sides, dessert, even drinks for kids. But sometimes we struggle with having enough places to put these meals. So either side of it is what we're kind of looking for. You can reach out to Michael Copeland on Facebook. He's a farmer's insurance agent, or you can reach out to me, Daniel, Brian. We can all kind of connect you to Michael to help if there's any way you can help us.
Awesome.
Agreed to match up to $2,500, and we're going to be writing a $2,500 check.
Awesome.
Sweet.
So we're okay with that.
That is greatness.
That's making the difference.
Yep.
That is.
There's a cheesy plug.
Speaking of making a difference, Linda, do you have our sponsors that I want to make sure we give a little bit of love to before we sign off here? All right. Mr. Tom Rose Company, Wines with an Appeal. So the Wines with an Appeal company is a company dedicated to assisting people fundraise for their favorite nonprofit organizations. They provide a fun and educational program to entertain your donors and increase their wine knowledge that could potentially cost the fundraiser nothing. If you're interested in setting up an event, especially as we enter the new year, send an email to tom@wineswithappeal.com or call them at 214-621-5216 for more information or to schedule your event. And then our second sponsor is Liberator Health Insurance. Mr. Greg Holberg, who is also a co-host on the show, sells health insurance, which, as you know, I think yesterday was the deadline for the government-sponsored marketplace programs. If you missed that deadline or just want to investigate something that might be better, Greg offers the best value and affordable healthcare. Deal of the week, he just signed up a 54-year-old accountant and his 23-year-old daughter for a great coverage for $570 per month. Now, if you're looking at comparing that to the government marketplace programs, you're looking at paying probably at least double that. So for more information or to get a quick quote, easy for me to say, call or text Greg Holberg, independent health insurance broker at 214-886-4688. Or visit them at www.liberatorhealthinsurance.com.
Hey, Brian, what's croat?
Huh?
What's croat?
What's
I
croat?
don't know. Some word I'm making up because I can't read.
I've waited a year to hear him mess up because he got me trying to say mindset shift one time. I didn't say that right at all, if you can imagine.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, see, your screw-ups are more fun, Landon, because they result in swear words. So it's more fun to get yours.
Right.
That's awesome.
Well, always thanks to our sponsors for being part of the show. We thank them. We thank our guests and our co-hosts today as well. Nathan, Kerri, thank you for bringing on some awesome guests. Tim, unfortunately, we didn't get to see you for the entire time, but I think your information was scrolling for most of the show. So, on behalf of Tim, if you are going up to Broken Bow, or if you're at all curious, check out his A to Z ranches.com, I believe is his website. Certainly search it up as an awesome opportunity. Kira,
or you can ask me.
And Kerri, obviously she's been there and going there. She should be there right now, but she's not.
I'm fixing to go.
That's right. So we'll let you go. Kira, thank you for being on the show. Thank you for all the insight. And if you're looking to book a vacation and take all the worry out of it, look up Kira.
Kira, thank you very much. I'm going to be, if I can find that post that I've seen 3 times and I knew nobody. So I've got your stuff. I liked your page on Facebook, so I'm going to tag you in it if I can find it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for the opportunity. I love being with you guys today. Absolutely. I hope you have a great holiday and Christmas with your family and New Year's too. And it sounds like you're all going on vacation, so I'm all for that. So good job.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Awesome.
Bye.
See you guys.